Many students at the University of Florida feel like they do not belong, even though they worked very hard to get to the place that they are. Me being a student at the University of Florida and college as well, I have experienced this phenomenon myself. And so I am very passionate about the psychological research that goes into understanding what exactly imposter syndrome is. Today I want to inform you about what imposter syndrome is, the difference between normal self-doubt and imposter syndrome, why it tends to affect high-achieving individuals, and why it is important we understand this disorder. To start off, I want to give you guys a rote definition of what exactly imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and fear being exposed as a fraud despite their clear success. The term imposter syndrome was first coined by psychologists Pauline Clance and Susanna Mez in 1978. This was coined by these psychologists when they were studying high-achieving women, and they were trying to understand why these women attributed their success to luck rather than their actual hard work. The difference between normal self-doubt and true imposter syndrome is normal self-doubt is a normal reaction when doing hard or new challenging complicated things. It is normal before you perform a speech or do something important that you feel a little anxiety or nervousness regarding the situation. Whereas imposter syndrome is a constant feeling of self-doubt and that you do not belong and you are a fraud in the situation. According to the American Psychological Association, people experiencing imposter syndrome can attribute achievements to external factors. These factors being luck and that they hopped over they got to the top not through their hard work. So now that we understand what exactly imposter syndrome is, now we need to understand why it tends to affect high-achieving individuals. High-achieving individuals usually experience imposter syndrome most because perfectionism, higher expectations, and competitive environments. When these people are put into these highly competitive environments, such as a university, like being at the University of Florida, they tend to have feelings stronger of self-doubt, like they do not belong. The International Journal of Behavioral Science estimates that approximately 70% of people experience imposter syndrome. Highly successful people tend to set higher standards for themselves, and competitive academic or professional environments can fuel this. Studies in organizational psychology show that imposter syndrome tends to affect professionals. Professionals like executives, doctors, lawyers, engineers, any career that is high demanding and very stressful. Usually these people experience imposter syndrome, like, how did I get here? Why am I in this position? I didn't work hard, blah, blah, blah. So now that we understand why it affects highly successful individuals, we need to understand why it is important to understand this disease. Why is it important that imposter syndrome is cured and helped? It can affect mental well-being, confidence, and career performance. Individuals experiencing imposter syndrome may avoid certain opportunities, such as internships, leadership positions, promotions, and anything that makes them come out of their shell. Research from the Journal of General Internal Medicine suggests that imposter feelings can contribute to stress, anxiety, and burnout. These are very serious mental issues that can lead to depression and anxiety, more worse mental issues just from imposter syndrome. For college students especially, it is important to understand what imposter syndrome is and how we can get past it. To conclude, I explained today what imposter syndrome is, how it differs from normal self-doubt, and why it frequently affects highly successful individuals. People who appear confident and accomplished may secretly doubt their abilities, which proves how damaging these patterns can actually be to the mental health. Remember, that feeling like you are an imposter and you do not belong does not mean that you actually are one. It means you are simply challenging yourself and growing as a person. You are actually doing hard things. Anyway, any questions?
If you have imposter syndrome, how do you reduce it?
To reduce imposter syndrome, a lot of psychologists and mental health professionals, such as therapists, suggest that you honestly just take a step back, do some deep breathing, calm down, and really just understand why you're experiencing this. Look back at all your hard work, reflect, do a lot of self-reflection. One mental health technique I think would help with that a lot is meditation. Just sitting for 20 minutes a day when you wake up and really reflecting back on your career, your path, and all the risks and hard turns you took to get to the place where you are. Any more questions?
Yes. Does social media affect imposter syndrome?
I believe that social media does have an influence on imposter syndrome because today we are so online, we are constantly on our phones, we are constantly seeing different influencers, different people achieving different things. It can really cause self-doubt to flare. It can make us think that we aren't enough, that we shouldn't be in the position we are because there are people who did more or worked harder, when in reality that's just your mind telling you stuff to make you fail. It's telling you you're not good enough, so you do not become the best possible version of yourself. So I think social media can be very harmful to this syndrome, especially. Anyway, any more questions? All right, thank you so much.